All right, we're back now. Well, see if we can stay live this time. Maybe we won't get blocked.
That's pretty cool, man. You said
Yeah,
249 countries.
yeah. We got blocked out of 249 countries.
That's pretty cool.
So that's a first right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm. Well, that is. That's good.
yeah,
So, yeah, I mean, that's how I feel about that. I mean, you'd think that if you want to keep all that going, then, send out a reminder. I don't know.
yeah.
That's,
Well, they don't have the they don't have the greatest of I don't know what you'd call it. The greatest uh communication skills through the IBCA membership department. So they
yeah.
need to work a little harder, get a little better about that. But other than that, it'll be all right. Yeah, I just thought it was kind of crazy. A bunch of guys lost points. Knocked a couple out of the top 10, moved a few up. Hey, I guess that's cool if you're sitting at number 11.
Yeah. The kind of funny part about that is all that happened, and I'm still 45th. I didn't move. So,
It
that's
only changed the top 10. That was all they checked. That's what I was told.
oh, yeah. Well, no, because I can say this: Chuck moved up. Chuck was 15th. He was like 12th when it was all said and done. They went more than top 10.
Oh,
So,
okay. Hell, who knows?
you know,
Shit, that,
it's all good. I don't care. It's all
yeah, I
uh,
ain't got to worry about being top 10 anyway. So,
no, no, no. Made top 10 in the region, both of us. So I'll take that.
yeah, I'll take that too for no much more than I cooked IBCA wise.
Yeah, that's the way I'm gonna say it. For nine cook-offs, busted the top 50 in IBCA, top eight in our region. Yeah, I'll take it.
For sure.
That's pretty good. So that's you know, well, we got elections coming up. We got, I guess, the annual meetings coming up this week. Um, and then I don't know. I guess I might go cook cress again this year. I say that they're being kind of banged around again a little bit. So they
Yeah.
busted in Baylor and Seymour. It's funny how people don't read things. I'm gonna have to bring this up real quick, but I was looking last night, and Crest is going to pay out 3,000 this year if you have 15 teams.
Okay.
So I mean, that's about what Lamesa used to pay out for many years. Um, I cooked several that were smaller than that this year. So then I got to looking at the one in Seymour, busted in Baylor, Lone Star cook-off. I guess the home of the wrestling midgets. That's what everybody wants to go see.
Wrestling midgets.
Yeah. So I got to looking at it. It only pays 80%. So in order to get 3,000 there, they got to have 30 teams.
Wow.
Neither one of them are state championship, so you can throw that out the window. So I got looking at that, and I thought, well, hell, you know, 15 teams to get 3,000 or 30 teams to get 3,000.
Yeah. That's a big difference.
Four meets in Crest, three meets in Baylor. So, a little more of an entry fee in Crest, but at the same time, $50, that won't take you very far in fuel. So,
Yeah. Manuel Marino says Red River, Lance.
yeah, Red River's a Lone Star. Won't happen. Not doing it. Sorry, buddy.
When is Red River?
Same weekend as Crest. It's not a state championship. It's got to pull 50. I heard today, I think Manuel posted it. They pull 50 teams and they'll go to 7,500.
Yeah.
But, yeah. No. I'll probably go right up here, right up the road. Because then the weekend after that, we got Raider Red Meats, and then probably Bedford, and then the Royal. So gonna be on the road for the rest of the time. So I'll probably stick close if I cook.
Yeah. So are you going to do Bedford and Tech?
I'm gonna do Tech. I'm gonna see about Bedford. Right now, if I did do Bedford, it would probably just be the KCBS side of it. I'd probably just show up Saturday. Because by the
Okay.
time I can get over there on Friday night, I ain't going to push it.
Well, that's a Saturday, Sunday cook-off.
Right. KCBS will be Sunday. So I can show
Right.
up Saturday to KCBS.
Okay. And then Monday's a holiday, so.
Yeah. I'm going to drive home, So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I mean, I still need three more. I need three more KCBS cooks to get me to 10. See what I do in pork. I'm sitting 70th right now. So that's what, another 600. That's about another 800 points available.
Yeah, up to what, 285 a contest,
Right.
if you can pull that out. Let's see. Just looking at updating standings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm sitting 47th in pork right now. It's a little bit above you, but I got a few more contests than you got. Well, a lot more.
Yeah. I think you've already hit like 12, hadn't you?
And then 60th in brisket, 129th in ribs, 138th in chicken, and 81st overall. So I don't think that's too bad right now for where we're sitting.
No, not at all. Not at all. At all. I mean, how many contests you cooked this year?
I think that was 13.
13.
No, 14. That last one was 14. I did. I just looked.
Damn. So you're double what I've cooked. Damn, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I knew you cooked quite a few, but holy cow. Yeah, I've cooked 7 now.
Well, 3 of those were double headers, so that helps.
Well, that's true too. I've cooked 2 double headers.
Yeah. Well, and I had the other day in Rio Dosa you didn't have, so that was a double
Right.
header. Other one I had.
There would have been 8. Yeah, I'm 73rd in pork right now with 7 contests.
Yeah.
But still got I do still have a 175 average in pork.
That's better than me. I got a 171.24. So yeah, you can't beat that. 175 at. Let's see.
Yeah.
Now, Boomerang only has a 172 average in pork. So.
Yeah. Well. Hey, would you two quit?
Anyways.
Oh. You two. All right, hold on a minute.
Tyler Moss says Crest changed to 3 meats. Come on, Manuel. Why don't you come to Bedford? It's a holiday weekend. Why will it be your first? Come up and do Bedford with us. Looks like Lance was having trouble with dogs over there. Not sure what was going on. He had 2 dogs on him. He just got up and hauled ass. So, yeah, we also went up this weekend and made the trip to Alamosa. I went up there and got my ass kicked. That was some of the weirdest scoring I've ever seen as far as personal goes. But that things happen. Other things happen. We did manage a walk, and we managed to do all right. Not what we wanted to do, but it is what it is. I don't know what to think about that scoring. Uh, I won 3 tables and got 1 walk out of winning 3 tables. I'll just put that out there. My 4th table, I was screwed on. I had fishy ribs apparently. But won 3 tables, only get 1 walk. Those contests happen. Just wasn't my day. We'll try it again next time. That's all I can do is try to win my tables.
Yep. Well, I mean, Walker said he won his too. They all but one.
Yeah. Shit happens. Different day, different cook-off. It'll change. Tyler Moss said Crest changed to 3 meats, Lance.
Wow. Wonder who started that nonsense. It must have been, I wonder if there's already been a little rule made that we just don't know about yet.
I don't know either. I was trying to get Manuel to come to Bedford, but he said he's going to Travis's class. That's a good class, Manuel.
Great class. Great
I
class.
thoroughly enjoyed it. So, but that's where that's kind of where I spent my weekend. Let's see, you cooked. Did you cook anywhere I ain't cooked lately, Lance?
Cooked Dodge.
Yeah, you cooked Dodge City. That's right.
Yep.
You ended up with 3 walks, I think, didn't you?
I had 3 walks, 173 across the board till I hit chicken. Chicken, it went in the tank about 149 somewhere. So yeah, I was having a good day. Except for chicken. I was having a really good day. 173 across the board was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
I was kind of like pulling Travis Clark, at the Jack a few years ago. Hell, I might have just got chicken DQ'd. It probably would have felt better.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been there. It don't feel very good.
Yeah. That 149 didn't feel too well either. Everybody like, yeah, you're in the top 10, you're in the top 10. And then, they started calling it down. They got down to about 4th place, and I was like, it's going to be a tough one because there was Bobby and Travis and Boomerang and Buckshot, and I was like, yeah, man. So,
well, my buddy Chris reserved up there in Colorado.
Yeah, he's been on fire.
He reserved up there, and I think he only had 1 walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he had 1 walk. Reserved it.
Yeah.
It was he just had everything right across the board around a 172, 173, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Just rolled it. So Justin wants to know if we recommend any classes in the Houston area. I haven't personally taken any classes in that Houston area. I know.
Man, if we're talking about KCBS, probably, it would be. I think when does Trigg do his? Like in February? He does one in Louisiana, which wouldn't be far from there.
Yeah, he does that one in Louisiana around February. Then IBCA, I think, doesn't Clarence Joseph do a class down that way somewhere?
I don't know if he goes that. I think he's more around the Austin area, I think. But I mean, he's down in that area.
I thought Clarence and Craig were doing some classes together at one time or something down in that area. I don't know if they still are. But
the only one I know, I think Craig's going to do one at the Barbecue Emporium, South Texas Emporium or something like that. And matter of fact, I think it's the same weekend as the Royal. It is. Same weekend as the Royal. But it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking more for IBCA or more KCBS, Justin, I mean, that's going to be the deal. I mean, imagine Craig can do more of an IBCA cook. He don't like pork, so he probably won't do that.
I forgot about Arnie. I know Arnie does classes all over.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're looking for IBCA, yeah.
Yep, IBCA. But as far as the KCBS class, I really don't know of any in that area. I don't know if old Butters ever does anything. You know, he cooks some KCBS and does some stuff once in a while.
Yeah.
I don't know if he ever offers any classes on it, but
Well, something else that we hadn't talked about too. And I've been seeing it coming up. I know Danny and Corey Mox is involved in it. I know Joey Smith is involved in it. I'm trying to think what that. It's an online class.
yeah, I saw that. It was like some type of it was kind of like master class, but I'm not sure how. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, Corey Mike's.
Barbecue Champs Academy. Rescue Smokers is in it. Robbie Royal. I know Danny Mikes. Joey Smith, to name a few. I think maybe Melissa Cookston's in there. There's several of them. I think Tuffy Stone's part of it now.
Yeah, Justin said he just became a member of IBCA. I was thinking going to that one at the Barbecue Emporium. I think it'd be a great. I've never personally been to one of Craig's classes. He's a hell of a cook.
Just call him Puddin'. That's all you got to do. Just call him Puddin' in class. You'll be good to go.
Yeah, old Puddin'. But yeah, Craig's a hell of a cook, man. If he puts on his class as good as he cooks, and I haven't heard anything bad about his classes, I think you'll be right in line. I'd go for it. It'll cut years off of your learning curve.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean a good class will at least cut a year or two off of a learning curve. There's no question about it. Does old Redneck still do classes up? But he's up towards Dallas up there. I don't know if he still does classes.
I'm sure he does, but he hadn't announced a class in a while.
Yeah, you might look up Jeff. What's his last name, Lance?
Jeff Wyatt. Redneck Cookers.
Yeah, old Redneck does some classes. I went to one. He puts on a pretty good class. It's a real laid back backyard type thing. He does it beside his house. He cooks everything right there. It's a really cool experience. It's a real laid back, type of thing. Chris Goodman said he took a Kiss My Rat class once.
Yeah, I might take that class one of those.
yeah. I'm gonna get a West Texas Pitmaster class one of these days. Yeah. At least a pork class.
Yeah. We'll see how this year ends.
I'll trade you some chicken for pork. We'll just swap it up.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Maybe we ought to just swap turn-ins.
Maybe I need to get a rib recipe. Maybe that's what I need after my fishy ribs.
My ribs are kind of one of them deals. My ribs are either there or they're not. I mean, they either hit really well or they suck really well.
And for an IBCA class, I know a couple of guys have been through it, but I've never been through it, and I don't know, but we can't forget about Dr. Smoke puts on an IBCA class down there. Yeah. And that dude can cook. He's a hell of a cook. And a couple of guys that been through that class, and they do really well. I don't know how much of that class they use. I can't tell you, but you look up Dr. Smoke on Facebook there, and he's right outside of Houston in I think Brenham.
Yep,
Brenham. So that might be one to look at. And I know he's not cheap, but he's not too expensive. I think he's in the $400 or $500 range, something like that.
Some one-on-one shadowing stuff too. So I mean, that might be a good deal.
Yeah, So you might look into Justin Margis is his name, Dr. Smoke, and check that one out. Well, what else, Lance?
Well, so we got all that going on. Like I said, we got some elections coming up. Man, I don't know. We got a lot going on. Waiting on Boomerang. He needs one more. He needs one more 35 grand champion, and he maxes out the points this year.
Yep, that'd be cool to see. He's got Travis right there nipping on his heels, but I don't know that Travis is pushing it that hard.
He's fixing to hang it up. Restaurants mid-September, so the comment he made to me in Dodge when we were sitting there at awards, I guess it was awards. I don't know, it was either awards or dinner, wherever. He said, he said, funny deal. He said, I bet KCBS has never seen the number 2 guy in points just give it up.
That's true.
But that's what he said. Said that he says the restaurant's ready. I mean, that's going to be his deal. I'm gonna believe that it's getting pretty close. I noticed today that he had pictures of his trophies and checks. So I'm assuming that's going to be some decor for the restaurant. I know the bathrooms are done. So I'm going to say that he must be getting pretty damn close.
Yeah, I would think so too. Yeah, I seen him post pictures of his bathrooms and everything. So he's getting close. And I also seen Porky Butts look like they were fixing to open up.
Yeah, I seen that too in Nebraska.
Yeah, that's where he's from.
So,
or where he lives now. I think he's from Texas, but that's where he lives now, I guess. And so I guess they're getting close to opening it up. So that's kind of cool to see too.
So yeah, I mean, you got a few of those coming along. But yeah, I mean, Travis, he sounded pretty excited. Of course, he was pretty excited the other day. He knocked out number 7 when we were in Dodge, and so that gave him a trip to the Jack. And yeah, but that's what he said. He's fixing to give it up. Of course, there's several others. I mean, hell, Buckshot's not too far behind, and I mean, he's been nailing it here lately.
Oh yeah, JD's been hot.
Hell, like George Valero, man. That man don't cook for 2 months and comes out and he busts the top. He was another one last week when we were in Dodge. He got one call. He got a hell was it? A 7th or it was 8th or 9th, and like chicken. It was like 6th overall. I got 3 calls and I was 19th overall.
Yeah, that's the way it works, man. You just never know, and that's the beauty of KCBS. It rewards consistency.
Yeah,
it's not first place brisket that wins it, or what it,
Well, I mean, he had 2 first places this weekend, and he was what? He was like 6th overall, I think.
Right. It's a 4-meat contest. It's not a 1 meat, 2 meat, 3. It's a 4-meat contest, and you have to be efficient across all 4 meats to make that happen.
Yeah, if I'd had like a 165 or something like that, I think I would have been like in the top 5. So that's all right. I mean, this is most. I think it's the most KCBS cook-offs I've ever cooked in a year, and I've had a pretty decent year, so I'm not going to gripe.
It's definitely the most I've ever cooked in a year. Matter of fact, I can tell you. We can go over to. So if any of y'all ain't part of barbecue data and you're a KCBS cook, it'd be great. So in 2018, I cooked 4 contests. 2017, I had 10. 2016, 4. 2015, 6. And 2014, 1. That was our first year. So 2017, we ran hard there for a minute and kind of backed off. And then, backed way off in 2018. Then now I had 10 then, and I've got 14 this year. So we'll see how the rest of the year goes. But I only have about 3 cook-offs planned. I'm going to do Bedford, Tech, and the Royal. So that's it is what it is, you know.
Well, I mean, that's where I'm at. I mean, I think the most I've ever done in a year in KCBS was 6, and that was counting cooking the Invitational and the Open about KCBS or the Royal. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm at a lot. Rick Davis, 25th place port, doesn't get it done. Damn,
Yeah.
Rick. So, yeah, I feel you, man. So, yeah, you know that's a tough deal. So, but like I said, it's been a good year. I've enjoyed it. We made some runs here and there, and you and I have made some runs, and JD and George and I we hung out Saturday night in Dodge City. Well, we went. Matter of fact, we went and ate with Travis Clark, and you know it ain't a dull moment at all with that man.
No, it's never a dull moment if Travis is around.
So you know we had a good night, and we had some what Travis referred to as Mexican food. Of course, you know JD, George, and I we were over there. We were kind of giving Travis hell about that, but you know it was good, and we tried to pay, and Travis said that hell no, that wasn't going to happen. That there was a long time deal going that I forget who kept telling us about someone winning the jack. He said that they were there one night and they get that guy's check and like man, we're gonna pay for that guy's meal and you know we're gonna win the jack. So they got up there to check out and there was a note up there waiting for him. Nice try, guys.
There you go.
So he said, "Yep." He said, "Not only did he pay for his, he paid for ours too." He said, "We were screwed." And
Well,
so you know, apparently that's a big deal in KCBS. That's a big superstition. I didn't realize how big of a deal that was, but even talking to Walker, I mean, yeah, that's a big thing in KCBS, and so we went out and ate, hung around, drank a few beers. We were probably in bed by I don't know 11 o'clock Saturday night. George was supposed to get back to practice Sunday morning, so I got up about 4:15. George texted me about 4:30, said he was getting up. We filled up with diesel and I told JD, I said, you go ahead and lead. And he showed me a picture of how we were going. That ain't how we went. I've been through parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas I've never been in. And we left after 5 o'clock. It's about 340 miles to Plainview. We left a little after 5 o'clock, and I was rolling into Texas at sunup. And I think we went through 2 little towns, and they were kind of a blink of an eye. They had a stop sign in them. I ordered breakfast at Jalisco's, and I was home by 11 o'clock Sunday morning.
well, hell yeah. We got home pretty early Sunday, coming back from Alamosa too. That worked out well. That wasn't too early. It was about lunchtime.
Yeah.
But I did get in a wreck on the way to Alamosa, so I thought I might GC the damn thing, but that didn't work out.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a bad deal.
some old lady come out and smacked my trailer. She was worse for wear though. I still pulled the trailer the rest of the way there and home, and we did all right. But you know, I was so mad. I was headed home, and my wife and my sister talked some sense into me. They said you're going to get home and be all pissed off because you didn't go. And I said, well, you're probably right. So I turned it back around and went back to Alamosa. So yeah, I was so mad that lady hit my trailer, and everything. I'd done turned around, was headed to the house, and Tammy and Kim talked a little sense into me. So we turned back around and headed to Alamosa. So and we had a great time up there. I had good neighbors. I had Rick Davis beside me, and a newer team. It's called like Brian's Dry Rubs or something on the other side of me. They were a newer team. They've only cooked a few times. They was kind of struggling. I kind of helped them guys out and showed them some presentations of how I present boxes and things and how they could make their boxes better, and just trying to further the community and help those guys out. And so that was pretty cool to be set up next to those guys and kind of get to at least try to point them in the right direction.
Sure. Well, I mean, and that's a good thing. I mean, there needs to be more of that stuff. I mean, we always try to do that kind of stuff, and
Right.
Come out and so yeah. I mean, that's good.
Yeah, they were out of Phoenix area.
Oh wow.
Had a big old reverse flow smoker. They were lighting their fire at 9 o'clock at night, cooking low and slow, and just a whole different process. And I showed them every box before I turned it in. I showed them how I build my boxes, kind of that kind of thing. And Rick says he didn't get any of those pointers.
Yeah, how does Ray that?
But yeah, it was kind of cool to be set up next to those guys and try to help point them in the right direction. That was, I don't think they fared very well, but it is what it is.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, and you remember Jerry from Dos Lunas?
Yeah.
He cooked with us in Rio Dosa. He come up there and cooked. It was cool to see Jerry. He kind of got killed too, but he didn't let it disappoint him. He said he'd be back for the next one. And
he cooked Artesia too, right?
He cooked one day of Artesia.
That's right.
And was about mid pack. He was a little worse than that.
Well, I mean that's
I said, that was a weird scoring cook-off. I don't know.
Well, but I mean that's always a tough cook-off. Always has been. I told you the first year I ever cooked it was the first year they had it, and I really wasn't privy to what was going on in that whole deal.
Yeah.
And, they had that's back when they used to have the Denver Invitational, and so all them guys were up cooking in Denver. And that whole crowd, Johnny and all them guys, they just migrated right down there, and all the judges migrated right down there, and it was bloody. But always enjoyed it. And if I wouldn't have had all the caterings and stuff this weekend, we probably would have been there. So,
I ain't brought it up yet, and I don't know how, but our good buddy, travels around a lot. Same cook-offs, Kip Parton. Texas Smoke Whisperer won it. So congrats to Kit.
I think that's his first KCBS win, isn't it?
That is. That's his first GC. So,
is that his first GC period? I don't think that's right.
No, I think it's his first KCBS GC.
Okay. That's what I'm thinking too.
So, yeah.
And I did see Rick Davis said y'all had good breakfast burritos. That must have come from Tammy.
Yeah. I didn't cook the damn things. You know that. Tammy makes them up. Hell, JD was trying to kiss her when she was delivering burritos. I don't know what's. Carrie calls Tammy her sister wife. They got a weird relationship going on down there. I don't know what's going on.
Did y'all have a 922 shot up there?
We had a 922 shot.
Man.
Then I had a 10-30 shot with Kelly Wirtz, and then I had another shot with Rick Davis.
Oh, so, man.
I had 3 good luck shots. It didn't work out for me.
I didn't have a shot when we were in Dodge.
Yeah. So yeah, Kelly does I guess a 10:30 or whatever shot,
Yeah, he does the later one. Yes.
and then Reagan and the Texas boys do the 9:22 shot, and then Rick Davis and his wife did another shot. So I had 3 shots, before chicken ever went on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, dang it.
Hey, but you were talking about dinner getting bought. I did get my dinner bought for me. We always have a tradition a little different than that, where winner buys dinner.
Right.
So after the contest, we went out and we went out with we went out with Chris and my buddy Chris from Bushmaster, and he bought dinner. We went to this wood fired pizza place that had some good beer on tap and some homemade wood fired pizza. It was called like Purple Pig or something, right there in downtown.
Right.
We just walked to it, and we had a good dinner and a good time up there, and that's always cool. Get to hang out with some people and do that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
They snookered you with all them shots.
yeah, that's what it was.
Well, like I said, I mean, I don't know. It's been a good year. I've enjoyed cooking some KCBS this year, and look forward to cooking some more of it.
Oh yeah, for sure. You and I went over, and Rick Davis and JD, and we cooked the IBCA over there, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed our time over there. But man, that hour and a half between turn-ins on 4 meat is just killer.
Yeah, you know what we did. Joe and Jennifer were there. JD, Kip Parton,
Yep.
Rick Davis, and all of us. And we had a good group there. Matter of fact, we went out. Joe and Jennifer and Rick Davis and all of us went out and eat Saturday night. You had a catering, so you had to what? Catering? Oh, you were showing pigs.
I had to get back for a pig show, so I hauled ass as soon as the awards were over.
We went and had a good time and shot the breeze. Learned things about Rick that none of us knew.
Wow.
He probably don't want me telling everybody this, but I'll put it out there. He is a classical trained chef.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Huh.
I did learn something else about Rick this cook-off. I didn't know for sure. You and I, Lance, we kind of fly by the seat of our pants. We do our homework. We prep things. We do stuff like that, but we kind of fly by the seat of our pants. And Rick he's prepared every time he shows up. He has his foil cut and his butter made up, and he runs his program. That dude is on top of it. So I'm just gonna put that out there. But yeah, he'd probably have a heart attack if he cooked with me, because I just kind of fly by the seat of my pants, and we make up sauces on the stove, and it's a whole. I might do better if I was more like Rick. I tell you that. But I just kind of cook and fly by the seat of my pants and see where it gets me. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It looks like Lance took a leave of absence on us. But another thing, guys, is we got IBCA elections coming up. So y'all, I don't care who you vote for or what you do, but make sure to exercise your right to vote. Get out there, look at the candidates, pick your choice. Just get out there and vote. It's the members' organizations. Just get out there and vote, and look it over, see what you like, and go from there. There's no right or wrong answer in that deal. Just everybody's got a different opinion, so get out there and see what you can do. Also, when we was up there, my buddy Chris from Bushmaster, He's also a part of Proud Souls Barbecue. I don't know if you guys ever in the Denver area have anything to do with Proud Souls, but those guys are top notch and they have the best products and equipment, sauces, spices, the whole 9 yards. And if you need something up in that area, hit them up. They'll deliver to you at a contest. I needed a few things for the contest, and they delivered it, brought it to the trailer. Same kind of thing we get with like Outdoor Chef and other barbecue stores. If you need it and they got it and they're going to be there, they'll bring it to you. Just don't be afraid to hit those guys up and let them know, and they'll work with you and get you fixed up.
Yes, sir.
Did you hear my Rick Davis story there?
No, I missed it. I was busy dealing with wife.
Ah, I can only handle one. I don't know how you have multiples. Jeez.
She liked multiple some days.
Multiple personalities. I didn't say that, Christy. Wasn't me.
Well,
But,
like this, look at how handsome you look, and now you just blew it.
oh man, I did blow it. I'm perfect at blowing stuff. Oh, that didn't sound right.
Yeah, boy. yeah, boy.
Yeah, that wasn't a good look right there. Anyway, I was gonna say, I say Rick would probably have a heart attack if he cooked with me or you, Lance. We kind of show up and cook, fly by the seat of our pants, and Rick runs his program. He's got all his full sheets cut ahead of time, and he does some different things, and he runs his program and he sticks to it. And maybe if I cooked a little more like that, I'd be a little better. But
that's kind of how I've been rolling this year. I've been pretty much sticking to a plan. My chicken's been second.
I stick to a plan too, but I'm not that stuck to a plan.
Yeah.
I make changes on the fly. If I see something happen, need to add a little extra heat to get something caramelized or some bark going on, or I need to add a little cayenne at the end, or if I need to do this or that. I have a little arsenal of tools that sometimes I think helps, but sometimes it could probably hurt me too.
Yes, sir. I'm with you. I'm there too. I get into some of that stuff myself, and I'll tell you this. I drove to Dodge. I got there. Well, I got there about 4:30 actually, but by the time I found a gas station to get fuel for a generator, that's not the easiest thing in the world in Dodge City. And then finding beers not very easy either. That's another problem. So it was 5 o'clock by the time I got to the contest, and kind of a crazy story. So I get to the contest. I called them earlier in the week, asked if they're going to have any cutoffs or anything like that. No, we're going to take teams. Blah blah blah. We got plenty of room. I was like, all right, cool. So I get there at 5 o'clock, and the guy's like, all right, we'll go in there and register, and we'll get you a spot and get you in. And I said, okay. I said, yeah, because I said I'm planning on cooking the steak cook-off. So I go in there and I go to register and everything, and I said, I got the barbecue deal part of it registered, and I said, okay. I said, I want to register for the steak cook-off too. And they looked at me and said, oh, well, we can't do that. And I said, what do you mean you can't do that? So, well, we were close to financials and stuff like that. And I said, what is that? I said, why? I said, you're not taking any teams? Well, there's not enough time. I said, ma'am, it's just 5 o'clock. I said, what time y'all turn in? Well, you got a window from 6 to 6:30. I said, oh, I got plenty of time. She's like, I don't really think you do. And I said, oh, I got plenty of time. Trust me on this one.
Yeah.
She like, well, I just don't think we can do it. And I said, y'all not have any more steaks? Oh no, we got steaks. And I said, they've never turned someone away for that. And so it kind of went back and forth for a minute. And I was like, whatever. And then she got up and she walked off, and And I'm standing there, and I'm like, okay, you know what? So then she goes over and gets the promoter, I guess, or the organizer or whatever, the SCA guy, for the cook-off, and he's like, we don't care. If you'll allow him in, well, I mean, we have no problem with him cooking. And so then they're like, well, you know, you need to pick out the steaks, whatever. I said, to be honest with you, I said, I don't even care. I said, just go get me a couple of steaks. I said, you know, I said, just make sure that, you know, JD had cut them and not Travis.
Yeah.
You know? And so, no, you need to come pick them out. So I was like, all right. So I go in there and I pick them out. And, you know, they let me get into it and everything. And so I go over and park. I get everything trimmed up, get my butcher string on, do my deal. And I turn on my Green Mountain. I thought, well, I'll just run them on the Green Mountain, run them hot. And so I get them turned in. And about that time, right after turning, Matt Walker and Sarah and Bobby with B&S Barbecue, I come over like, hey, let's go get a hamburger. And I said, all right. So I just need to be back by about 7:30 for awards. They're like, all right, well, you know, that'd be cool. And so we get to talking, and Matt asked me, he said, well, man, when did you sign up for steaks? I said, about 30 minutes ago. And he's like, what? He's like, they wouldn't let us cook steaks. Trying to find out there was a bunch of people that they didn't allow to cook steaks.
Wow.
They showed up that day to cook steaks, and they wouldn't allow it. And I was like, oh. I said, man. I said, well, I guess you guys weren't persistent enough, because I said, I got them. And I said, there was plenty of steaks. And so we did that. And then, like I said, I mean, I had everything prepped and ready, done. We went to awards, and the Larry Voss, one of the reps, walked up to me. He's like, man, he said, you are here. And I said, yes, sir. And he said, well, we hadn't expected you. And I said, no, I said, you know, y'all got the meeting. He said, well, he said, I got a few minutes. Let's go to the meeting right now. Or let's go to the inspect. So they inspected my meat and stuff. Saturday, I've been most laid back, run my program, was not in a rush, hung out, ate breakfast, screwed around. I almost was bored to some degree, even in KCBS. And, you know, it kind of showed. I mean, I like that. I like running the program. I was the last team there, Friday-o. I kept that tradition up.
Well, that's typical Lance Moore.
Yep, I was the last one to show.
Yeah, that's pretty typical.
That was at 5 o'clock. Ain't that funny? 5 o'clock, and you're the last team to show up.
I know. Yeah.
I was like, wow. But no, we did. We had a good time, and so I don't know. What's some of your thoughts about the elections this year?
Well, I kind of went on a few second rant when you was off the air there, but I just told everybody I don't care what they do, who they vote for. They just need to vote. It's historic, like 16% or something crazy turnout on voting. Right. Just get out there and vote. Put the people into office you want to see. If you don't vote, you can't gripe about it.
Well, that's true.
Just, I mean, it's online. They send you the deal. You get on there and vote. Super easy. I believe you can mail a ballot in if you want to or something. Maybe that was KCBS. I don't remember, but
I don't know. I don't know about
that. It's online. It's super easy. I'm not going to sit here and preach who to vote for because I haven't really studied it myself, and I don't know who I'm going to vote for yet. But you know, study your candidates. They've all put positions out there. They kind of know. You kind of know the people, and just vote. So.
Right. I'm with you. You know, it's kind of a north and a south kind of deal this year. So, you know, I'm kind of curious to see what happens. You know?
Yeah. I think I think I seen Aaron Leslie's going to run for at large.
Yep.
So
Amen.
I would endorse Aaron, but most of the other guys running,
You got Roddy, you've got Fred, Robles. That's three that I can think of off the top of my head as far as at large. I know there's some other ones in there. Got Terry Blunt running for vice president. Ernest Cervantes running for vice president.
On the vice president deal, you know, I don't really know Terry, and I don't know his thoughts. I know he's kind of the old guard, the Lynn Shivers age thing, and so I'd be more inclined to vote for Ernest. He's more of the new age type of situation, and might push it through a little more. But that's just my thoughts.
Well, you know, there were things. I mean, and Ernest did say a little bit the other night. I mean, there's some chatting going on. I'm kind of curious too. I mean, he made a few comments that, you know, that made it sound like to me that, you know, that there is a plan. They've got a plan. If it gets executed, that, you know, we might see something with pork. He didn't actually physically say it, but he did not say it. I mean, some of that come up. So I'm kind of curious to see. I mean, I'm kind of really thinking that what you're going to see is a Leanne. What I envision is if you have Leanne, Roddy, Fred, Ernest, you know, and of course Roddy, Ernest, and Fred run together. So that's I don't know. There might be an agenda there.
Yeah, there could be. For president, what you got? Leanne and Kevin Miller, I think. I personally know and like Kevin.
I do too.
Met him a few times. I like the guy. I don't know where he stands on things like single table judging, new scoring systems, you know, pork, things I would like to see. I don't know where he stands on that. And I don't know anything about Leanne, so I'm not gonna go off on that tangent and make a choice right now. But that's just what I know. So.
Well, I mean, yeah, like I said, I mean, I hadn't made up my mind about everything either. Oh, Gabriel says say goodbye to pork.
Yeah, we know a bunch of them boys are scared to cook it, but you know that's all right. One of these days they'll want to go to the Jack of the Royal, and they'll have to cook it. So.
Well, you know, the funny deal about it is, I mean, there has been a lot of chatter, and there was a lot of chatter. Robert Smith from down south, he brought it up. You know, and there were several guys from down south that brought it up, said that, you know, they actually liked it. So, you know, I'm kind of curious. I mean, I think that that's going to be one of the deals. It may get voted out at the now. And what people don't understand about the rules is those rules, even if you submit it and it comes up in the boardroom, the membership don't vote on the rules. The board.
No, the board.
So the board could kill it with the current board, and then turn right around, depending on how everything shifted on come September, they could vote it back in.
Okay. I guess Gabe was referring to cooking breast fest there. He had some of that good Boone's Farm, he said, that you like so much.
Lance had that famous Boone's Farm in Snyder.
He's telling you he had some of that Boone's Farm in Snyder.
Well, I'm glad for you. Hope your head hurt. That stuff there will kill you.
Yeah. Hey, Aaron Leslie looks like he's pro pork, so vote for Aaron.
So that's what I'm saying. I mean, you know, I'm kind of curious to see what happens. I mean, there's been a lot more come up about it. I know that you know, I've been, of course, I sat in that boardroom. I know a little bit about some of the stuff that went behind the scenes with pork. I know that there were 2 or 3 that tried to kill it. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Like I said, it don't matter to me one way or the other. I mean, in reality, I'm probably not going to cook as much that end of it anymore. So I'll probably cook some, but I'm probably going to cook probably more on the KCBS side of it.
Yeah.
And
Well, maybe Lance, maybe over the next week or two here, maybe we can I can send some feelers out to these guys like Aaron and Kevin Miller and Leanne and see if they want to come on and put their position out.
yep,
And
I'm
if,
just myself.
if they do, we'll be willing to talk to them, and
Yep.
because especially Kevin and Leanne, I have no idea on where their thoughts are on things. So that's Ruben says hi. What's up, Ruben? I ain't seen you in forever, bud.
He's been hiding. He's been lurking.
Yeah.
But
yeah, maybe we should put out some feelers, see if some of those guys want to come on and talk about it. And
well, I did visit with Kevin here a while back, and Kevin said that he would love to come on. So yeah,
well, why don't you put that feeler out there? See if he's got a.
I say we get as many of them as we can.
I do too.
Here's what I say to you. This is how I see it. I say we have a night of president, vice president.
There you go.
Well,
we could even do multiples in one night. We could do a couple of
vice president one week. We could do at large, and then secretary or treasurer. Actually, you could probably get all 3 of those. Well, I don't know. The at large, there's enough in there that you may need to have it, so we might have to have 3.
Yeah.
So,
but we could do 30, 45 minutes with each group or something, yep, and roll it through that way.
Bring them all in at the same time, and like the president, bring them both in.
Right.
Okay, we can do it.
Yeah, it almost be like a
debate,
democratic debate. We get all kinds of free shit, free healthcare, free housing, all kinds of free shit.
Barbecue welfare, man. Barbecue welfare.
There you go. Yeah. Anyways, I'm not putting my political views out there, but y'all can probably get
the pork. Yeah, well, sorry, Raven. The pork's probably gone. One of them deals. Gonna happen. But that's all right. I heard we might pick up a Cheerios category.
Hey, I'm down for Cheerios. I'll just bring some Frosted Flakes and blow y'all out the water.
There you go.
Yeah.
No,
all right. Well, Lance, we've almost hit our hour. I got other shit to do, so that's what I was telling you. I might have to cut it short tonight. But you got anything else here? We're a little bit over an hour.
We're getting down into the cutting, and like I said, we got a couple of good contests coming up here next few weeks. That's kind of actually I do. And I'm gonna get a hold of the guy. Rice Krispies. Yeah, I'm good with that, Tammy. I got an email the other night. Let me get this real quick. Because it's another cook-off. Another KCBS cook-off in Texas. And I'll butcher his name, I'm sure. His name is Zach. Seifert. I don't know how the hell you can say that. Seifert. It's called the Viking Grill Festillation. I don't know how the hell to pronounce that either, but anyways, they're going to have a first annual cook November the 1st and 2nd in Waco.
Oh, hell yeah. I love Waco. I love that area.
So,
It's my birthday weekend.
yeah, matter of fact, that's right. It's my birthday weekend. Hell
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. But it won't be the big 5-0, so.
we can take you to see Chip and Joanna.
Oh, boy.
Tyler
Yeah.
Moss said we should have a Boone's Farm drinking category.
Yeah. Well, no. Oh, Gabriel's all in. Yeah. So, anyways, so
Ruben
this
thinks
is,
we should have drunk chicken.
yeah, it's for a school. That's what I was just looking at. It's for the Vanguard College Preparatory School is what it is.
Huh. Well, I
So-
haven't seen the details on that. Send those to me if you would, Lance.
Okay, it's up on the website now.
Okay.
But I'll forward this to you. He wants to talk about the Texas Barbecue Association and stuff. The Shiflets sent me this or gave them our name and stuff. So I got to reach out to him, and I may try to do that tomorrow.
Okay.
Get with him this week and talk to him. But yeah, so there's that one, and then there's the other one, the Olson fellers having that one over by Temple. That one's in October, I believe, or maybe it's November also. Maybe 2 of them in November. So there's a couple more right there.
Awesome. Well, love to see it growing.
So
And,
yeah.
All right. Well, Lance, I got a brand new skid steer loader sitting in my backyard. I got to get out there and use that thing.
All right,
And
man.
I got some more cleaning up to do. We got some pig pens built. We got some, man, it's going crazy around here right now. So we're
Good.
getting new pigs on Labor Day there. And so we'll be back in the swing of pigs and back in barbecue pretty soon here coming up. So,
All right, buddy.
all right.
All right, everybody have a good night.
Everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, man. Thanks, everybody. See y'all next week.